Welcome to the Misfit One Lifestyles with Elizabeth Colin. She will awaken and connect with your Misfit One. Are you tired of the ups and downs in your life? Are you ready to live a healthy lifestyle once and for all? We are talking about all aspects of your life. Being fit is not just physical, it's also your mind and soul. Learn how to take steps in your life to move towards your goals. Elizabeth's goal is for everyone listening to the sound of her voice to get fit. Let's get focused, let's get intentional, and let's transform. Now here's your host, Elizabeth Colin.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Misfit One Lifestyles with your host, Elizabeth Colin, also known as Misfit One. And today's guest is the one and only Lisa Jenkins. How you doing, girl?
I am doing well. How are you? And thanks for having me.
Listen, the pleasure is all mine. For anybody who do not know this wonderful woman, she is the founder and CEO of Kingdom Builder Family Life Center, a nonprofit organization geared towards assisting domestic abuse survivors. Ooh, honey, that has to be, I don't even know how to even start with that. Talk to us about that, Lisa.
Absolutely. It has definitely been life-changing for me in more ways than I can only imagine. Being able to support survivors that's on the journey that I once had to travel. Years ago, I was in my first marriage and I got married at 19, and at 24, I was literally escaping with my life and my 3 children. So at that time, I knew once my life was saved that night, he tried to kill me. I knew that I wanted to spend the rest of my life supporting those who've gone on that journey of ending domestic violence and just having a path where they can eventually thrive outside of that. So it took me a while. As I mentioned, I was 24, and so I had to grow up. I was raising 3 small children, and again, also healing from the abuse that I suffered 5 years in that particular space. And so I did all the things that single parents do in surviving. And I was able to overcome all of that. I was able to get my bachelor's degree during that time and also my master's degree. I met my now husband 6 years prior after that particular situation. And we've been together now 20 years. And we have 4 additional children along with my 3 that I'm raising. And it's been great. So the last 10 years, I've been working in this organization to support survivors of domestic violence and their children move past abuse.
You know what? This is a subject that is dear to my heart because I am a survivor of domestic abuse, just like you. My ex-husband, actually left me for dead. But God had something else.
Absolutely.
Right? But listen, when I was going through that so many years ago, the laws have changed in so many ways in order to help the abuser be locked up for longer, or the consequences for it, and also help the victim because they didn't have any. I had nowhere. It was no Lisa Jenkins when I was out there.
Right.
So how do you go about supporting people? How can they find you?
Right, absolutely. And so again, myself as well, when I got out of it, it was in 1996. There was no laws that were designed to support. And I had to kind of face the journey alone. But I realized that some of the things that I didn't have support in, financial, had I had a safe place, I was able to move states to get out of my situation. But having a organization that would allow safe housing. We provide safe housing in our location. We also provide financial assistance. We do case management advocacy. They actually create their success plan with us, and they tell us what do they need to be successful because each person's journey is different. So we map that out with our advocates that they work with, and we basically support them on that journey or whatever it looks like for them. We've been very grateful. I've been very blessed and grateful to be able to get a lot of funding, federal and state and local funding, to be able to support victims that come in, getting out of the best amounts, getting them a safe place, helping them find a job, helping them to be able to get on their feet so that they can then move forward and become independent and take care of themselves. And if they have children, there's children as well. And we also do work with the youth, because we know domestic violence is a learned behavior. So when growing up in a home filled with abuse, you're going to either come two things: one, a person that has caused harm, or the person that has been harmed. So we try to educate the community and the families on that, so that they know what right looks like and get those tools they need, so that they don't have to repeat what they've seen.
How do we get in contact with you?
Yeah, so we're right now we're out of Colorado Springs. It is our goal to kind of expand in different areas, but we have a website that's fully functioning, www.kbflc.org. Even if you are not in state of Colorado, you can still have a chat, the service that's on there, be able to ask us information or questions. We can probably help support you in getting connected to resources that's in your area, just helping you build a success plan for yourself. And that has everything you need about what we do, how we can support, and then also about how you can support us as well, is on our website.
Yeah, because a lot of times when you are in that situation, you don't even think about the things you need.
Right.
Or you just want to survive.
Right.
Right. I just want to live.
Right.
And so when you are at that point in your life and you are just reaching out, say we call you, what does that look like?
Absolutely. So you call, we do have a 24-hour hotline as well, but we also have our regular here 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. You contact us about, this is where I am and this is what I need, because everyone, again, as I mentioned, we don't want to dictate how survival looks for you. We want you to be able to tell us, what do you need? So to get that support, because my philosophy is empower versus rescue, because oftentimes when you're in domestic violence, your rights and your power have been taken away from you. And so we want to give you that space to get that back. So that's why we're going to leave it up to you to tell us how we can support you. And then we walk you along that journey of what does that look like. And of course, we want you to be safe, because a lot of the folks that we get in, they're not ready to leave yet. And that's okay, because everybody is gonna, their journey looks different, as I mentioned. So we're helping you with coming up with a safe plan of, okay, when you're ready to leave, these are the steps to take, so you can safely get out of that situation and into a place where you can get support.
Right, because that's facts. I left 999 times.
Mm-hmm.
and then the 1,000th time I didn't go back. But
right.
Other than that, I mean, and it is very common for that to happen. I probably know 2 people in my whole life that actually it happened once. And they said, I'm not doing this, and left,
right.
Which is bravo. I wish I was that person.
Right.
But, I wasn't. And I love the fact that you said that, when you are ready.
Right.
Because it all comes from you. And can you talk about something you said earlier that was very significant, where you said the difference between rescue?
Mm-hmm. Empower versus rescue. Absolutely. So we want to empower anyone to be able to make that. You are enough. I always use and tell the people that come through my doors, you are enough. You don't deserve what you're getting. So we just have to empower you to realize that this is where you are. And so because we don't want to do it for you, because a lot of time, if we're giving you everything and we're doing it for you, you're less likely to stay out of it, because now you're back in that situation where I've been getting someone else, this person that has victimized me has been doing all of these things. Now I want to come to this organization for them to do everything. You're not going to learn how to empower yourself. So that's what we want for those to know who are in those situations, those survivors who really want to survive and they just want to get out. So let's not be a victim. then we want to survive, but then eventually I want them to be like me and be a thriver. I'm a thriver now, so I don't even call myself a survivor anymore.
I'm a thriver too.
Yes,
I
yes,
like
you are.
that.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
a thriver too,
Yes.
which is true because, and I keep going back to that victim and empowerment because you said it so right on. We go from one controller
Right.
that's doing everything for us. Even they'll do the good stuff. They'll make sure you have a house. They'll
Right.
make sure they provide, but they're gonna beat your ass.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. But they're doing everything else for you.
Right.
So you become dependent on them. And then that dependency usually transfers to the person that's helping them.
Right.
So, can you give us a little insight or some directions on ways to kind of start thinking of yourself
Right.
as a whole? Because I say, you, like you said, you are enough. I believe that you are whole and resourceful and creative within yourself.
Right. Absolutely.
Can you talk to us a little bit about
Yeah, absolutely. And then I think that what happens is when we're dealing with trauma for so long, we tend to, not see ourselves as being enough. And so we will get in that downward spiral of feeling like, I deserve this, or I can't do this by myself. And oftentimes when you're in a relationship that's abusive, if you have children, you're less likely to leave because you're thinking that, I don't know how I'm going to take care of them by myself. I've got to take this, it's not every day that it happens. So I'm just going to stay in there because I don't know what I'm going to do. We talk ourselves out of making those decisions. But when we look at when a relationship should be a healthy relationship. So if there's any type of abuse, whether it's mental abuse, physical, psychological, sexual, whatever it is, that's
financial,
all of those abusive forms is not a healthy relationship. So we have to look at realizing that, this is not right. And I have to be more than my circumstances and get out of it. But wait until you can put it in a plan, because I don't want anyone to just leave out and not have a plan, because we don't want you to be on the street homeless trying to figure it out, because you're less likely to stay. So that's why we always encourage people that when you are ready to, my grandma would always say, you have to be tired of being sick and tired. So that's the point. Like you said, those 99 times or whatever it took you, but at that 100th time, you knew that I was tired of being sick and tired. And it was time for me to go.
Correct.
So that's where we want anyone who is in that space to be able to know you're not alone. There's definitely opportunities for you to get support. We just have to work on putting a plan together so you can safely get out.
Right. I think because you and I were going through it around the same age, because that was when all the stuff was changing. That was when I was going through my incident, and it finally came to me. I'd rather sleep under a bridge than stay another night here. And I had a kid.
Right.
But I thank God I had an education.
Right.
And I had friends. So I didn't have to sleep under a bridge, but I was willing to
right. Yeah, it was time. And now there's so many opportunities now that we didn't have when we were younger to be able to have those resources, because there are a lot. I think every state should have one or two organizations. But again, it's just tapping into those, being uncomfortable for a while, because I went to the shelter for a while with my kiddos. Was it ideal? Absolutely not. But I knew that it was better than what I was in that situation. So I chose to kind of make those choices. But it was short term. It wasn't forever.
Right. So can you give us some pointers on, one, if you are in, like you said earlier, I don't want you to just roll all out and be homeless. Can you give us a few things that if you feel, you guys listen. If you feel you are in an unhealthy situation, please reach out.
Right.
And Lisa, can you give them a few things that they can do before they just bolt and be on the street?
Oh, absolutely. So make sure it's safe. And when I would suggest, if you're someone who have children, start finding those important documents like birth certificates, social security cards. Those are some of the any type of identification for yourself. Start putting something together safely, and making sure that it's kind of tucked away, putting together a bag if you can. If you're thinking about maybe it's going to be a when you're spending money, put a little bit aside each time so that you can have some cash in hand. There's so many ways to kind of do a small plan where it's not going to taking those documents to a friend. If you have a trusted friend or anyone allow them to, this is the plan I have. Make sure there's someone that's not friends with the person that's causing the harm as well. Someone you feel you can trust, and then start taking those documents to them, letting them know this, explaining to them, this is what I'm going through and I'm going to make a plan to leave. Can you be my support system? Usually you're going to find someone that's going to say yes, and start kind of storing stuff away to them. And then, after you get to a certain place, then when you leave out, you don't turn back, because now you're out, finding out what resources are in your area. As I mentioned, we're here in Colorado Springs. So if you're close by, absolutely give us a call. Even if you're not close by, you really want to get out, just give myself or one of the advocates a call and say, hey, I heard your interview and I really want help in a plan. We are definitely more than able to support you in figuring out the next step for you, and also figuring out where your local domestic violence shelter resources are in your area. Allow us to do that, and then we can hopefully get you safely out. But those are some of the documents you want to always have, because usually what happens, they start hiding those stuff or keeping that away from you. But if you're at a space where you can start gathering those information, it'll help you in the long run as you exiting out of the house.
And the most dangerous time is once you leave and have to come back.
Absolutely. So
that's when you usually get killed. I'm just saying, that's usually when it don't, you can, because we can get the gumption and I'm out. But then like, ooh, I forgot this.
Right. And it's okay to plan. And so that's why I encourage anyone. Yes, sometimes we want to make those decisions right then, but we want to be safe and prepared when we make that decision, because you don't want to ever come back. So if there's things that you need to start gathering slowly, start gathering it now and putting it aside, for sure.
Think of it like in the Bible, when she walked away and didn't look back. If you look back, you turn into salt.
Right. Absolutely.
Because I've been there, done that. I'm trying to tell you, don't do it.
Right. Absolutely. And even if it's having family that you may know of, getting out of that distant state can help them as well. I was able to move from South Carolina to New York, so that gave me the distance I needed to be able to, but I have family in New York, so that made it easy for me, by saying, hey, this is what I want to do and I want to leave. And I was received.
I love that. And I love the points that she gave you guys are dead on. I mean, I wish, like I said, I wish they had a Lisa.
I know.
I was going through it. Listen, because we didn't have any of that.
Right. Nothing. Yep.
Nothing. Even the police. I remember running up to a police officer, like I'm running from my life, right? It's in the middle of San Diego. And a police officer was on break or whatever, and I run up to him and I'm like, hello, help me. He was like, I'm on break.
Yeah.
It wasn't the same. They were like, that's between husband and wife.
Right.
Roll out,
Yeah.
But you talk about getting a bag, getting your stuff, do it smart, guys.
Right.
Be smart about it, because these men or even women, we always think of it as a man abusing a woman, but men get abused as well. And so make sure you are being safe. And I also wanted to talk to you about the mental health of the victim, because again, none of that was around.
Right.
And can we talk about that a little bit?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So when women and men who are experiencing domestic violence, they're at a significantly higher risk of experiencing things like post-traumatic stress, which is PTSD, depression, anxiety, substance abuse, and sometimes thoughts of suicide. So we want to, the longer that you're in it, that's a higher risk of getting those symptoms. And it's okay, because again, just like they didn't have resources for domestic violence, now they do have it now, and they also have it for mental health as well. So just get yourself seen by the doctors. It's okay to let your doctor know, this is what I'm facing, and these are some of the things, because we want you to be safely out, but we also want your mental health to be in check as well, because this is going to be a hard journey. Once you get out of the abuse, now your life starts to begin over, and if you don't get some support with those mental health conditions that you probably have gotten exposed to because of the domestic violence, then it's like you're gonna still be in dependent on something, but now it's not a person, now it's a condition.
Ooh-wee. Listen, that is facts on facts on facts, because the physical part of it, we get over, our body heals, the bruises leave, those things, but the mental component of it lasts so much longer. Did you feel that, Lisa?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You're in survivor mode once you come out of it, but then you're not really taking care of yourself, because now you're just like, okay, now I got to do this. I had 3 children, so I wasn't thinking about myself at all. I was thinking about, how do I take care of my children? And my health was affected. It was so much, probably a few years after I left, I went up in the hospital, and they said it was congested heart failure, because I had, just been so going full speed ahead, wanting to be the best mom to take care of my kids. I lost sight of my health. And so once I got that sit down for those 6 days I was in the hospital, I realized that now I have to take care of me, because I have to be here for my children. So I definitely would encourage anyone to make sure that you take yourself. Once you get out, can at least see some light at the end of the tunnel, something, your new normal. Take care of your health, because it's so important.
And that's why it's been so important for me. That's why I do what I do. Listen, I am all about mental health, taking care of yourself, mentally learning and loving the inside of you, because and this is real talk. We all Misfit One Lifestyle. This is for reals, right? Mm-hmm. I was so messed up that my ex-husband would say how ugly I was. You're so ugly, you so ugly. I wouldn't even look in the mirror. You know how you brush your teeth looking down? I wouldn't even look. I washed my face. Then, it took a long time for me to even just look in the mirror.
Yeah.
And so I ended up like you, PTSD, like crazy. Like I've been to war.
Right.
And I've been supposed to be with the one I love. Mm-hmm. So when Lisa is telling y'all, give her a call. What's the website again?
It's www.kbflc, just like the letters of our name, .org. And our phone number is 719-247-8190 is our office phone number.
I really appreciate this, because the work that you are doing is truly life-saving.
Yes.
It really is. And I'm going to put it out there. I mean, I don't know the places here, but if you find it, you can use me as a resource that I can help find the domestic centers or give some information, because I am here to support you in anything you need as well, because there was no you when we were going through this.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's unfortunate, but we have it now, and now we just have to because our whole goal is to end family violence. That's where our goal is. And so whatever way we can do that with our services, as well as just using my voice, because I realize, just being a survivor of domestic violence, I have so much more that I can share with my experiences, of course, and helping others overcome those challenges that they face as well in dealing with domestic violence.
Right. Now we know that you take care of everybody else. And, my platform is all about fit. Mm-hmm. When I say fit, I mean focus plus intentional equals transformation, right?
Yeah, that's good.
And that's what you do with your people. You have focused on this problem,
Yes.
this issue. You have moved with intentions to help, and you are definitely transforming people's life. So I thank you again. But I have two questions for you.
Absolutely.
How do you take care of you, Miss Lisa?
Yeah, I definitely because of course now I have no choice. I do self-care is a big I'm Fridays I take off. I'm intentional. I love being in my yard doing gardening work. So that's my go-to. I take that time for me. I have no problem getting a massage, getting my nails, my feet done. So I am very intentional of making sure that I take time for myself because this journey that I'm on, I know I have to be able to sustain. And the only way to do that is to be intentional of my health and wellness for sure. I go to the gym. I just started back going to the gym. I'm like, I went last week 3 times. This week I haven't gone yet, but I am into the gym more as well because I need to be able to use that time to, burn some energy and not have to focus on everybody else, and I can focus on myself.
Right, because you know it. If you do not put the mask on
Yep.
first,
Yes.
you can't help others. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and
That's it.
and that is so important. And the second thing is, look at that smile. I wish I could see it. She's like, what? Can you just, in your words, give us words of wisdom to rock out with?
Absolutely. And as I mentioned earlier, you are enough. God has made us the way that we're supposed to be, and He wants us without any flaws as far as relationship wise. So just know we're enough, and we can move mountains, but we just have to put ourselves in a position that we can receive that.
Bam, that's awesome. Thank you so much for taking
For
time
having me.
to coming on and talking to us, because this is truly so important and it's happening every day.
Yes.
And we need to speak about it and know that we have the resources and you are not alone.
Absolutely.
In Lisa's words, you are enough.
Yes.
Until next week, you guys, I want you to live fit. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Misfit One Lifestyles. Listen, when you are fed up and sick and tired of living this stifled, overwhelmed, and overstressed life, and you're ready to live the fullest, richest, and healthiest life by gaining more confidence, more energy, and more clarity, living in your best self, you know what to do, right? Go ahead, go to my website, misfit1.com. Sign up for our online courses, Creating Healthy Habit, so that you too can live fit, focus, move with intention, and transform your life.